Hey witches, welcome to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy, a magical living podcast for the busy witch. I'm Morgan, eclectic witch of almost 25 years, Avalon priestess, and busy witch. Here we'll talk all things witchy, from current metaphysical happenings to my busy witch tips and tricks, and everything in the in-between. This podcast is my personal journey, filled with my knowledge, opinions, and unique way of looking at the world. Join me as I weave the magical and the mundane in every episode. Hey witches, welcome back to Busy, Gritty, Inked and Witchy. I am Morgan, and today I am asking you, why are you a witch? Yeah, we're going to get deep today. We're going to do it. So if you are listening to this on the day that it airs, tomorrow is Samhain, Halloween, Witches' New Year. Well, it's the Celtic Witches' New Year. So for a lot of us, it's a spiritual new year. This is the time if you want to do, actually I get asked a lot, like what's the difference between setting intentions at the regular new year versus, the witch's new year. So if you want to celebrate Samhain as the witch's new year, then this is the time to set your spiritual goals. So any type of goals or intentions that you have for your spiritual self, your magic, your witchcraft, anything like that would be what you would do for Samhain. So that's kind of the difference. That's at least how I treat it. That's what I do. So we're going to get deep today because it is Samhain. It's the week of Samhain. Even if you are listening to this after Samhain, it's never too late to set spiritual goals or intentions, of course, but we have to start at the beginning. You really do. So that's what we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to get deep. We're going to talk about why are you a witch? I'm going to share some of my story, and I'm going to give you some questions to ask yourself, especially if right now you're feeling stuck or confused or anything like that, okay? So that's one thing I have been getting from witches a lot lately, and this is via my coven, my Patreon. I do tarot readings, and they've really been resonating with people. And even the tarot readings that I've been doing for them have shown a lot of confusion lately. And it's completely understandable, okay? It is an election year. The closer that we get here in America to the election, the more of a jumble fuck things end up being. I think personally, my phone goes off no less than 3 times a day with political text messages, which I mark every single one of them as spam because it brings me joy. You can't watch 5 minutes of television without having the political ads, and it's a lot. And with the other things going on in the world as well, there's just a lot of shit happening right now. And I think especially witches and those who are empaths, we're feeling this shit, So if you are feeling burned out, disconnected, a little bit lost, that is completely understandable. I have talked recently about some transformations that I've been going through lately. So even for me, each time that I go through something or each time something in me shifts, I'm basically in a new reality, like not a reality like this reality, but the way that I am processing information, the way that I'm dealing with emotions, the way that I am performing magic, all of it is shifted. And so I'm basically doing it from a new perspective every single time I shift and transform. And there have been a lot lately. So I'm going to talk to you all about those as well. For me, it has been getting back to the basics. That has been my goal. And it was something that I realized before the summer started. So I think I was really starting to question a lot of stuff. Maybe not question, but I was starting to get burned out. I was starting to realize that as much as I teach about living magically, my magical practice was almost non-existent for a little while. Running the business, I'm doing spiritual or magical things every day because I own a spiritual business. But my personal practice was not where I wanted it to be. And I had to get back to my why, which is why am I a witch? Why did I become a witch? Why was the witchcraft path so enticing to me? I grew up Christian. I think a lot of us did. Why was that no longer good enough for me? Why did I choose to become a witch? Why did I choose to look into this side of me? And what does being a witch mean to me? Those were the questions I had to ask myself, okay? Hold on. I'm going to move my notebook just for those of you actually listening and not watching on YouTube. I got to get a little organized. I was sitting here trying to read something that was like basically underneath my boobs and it wasn't working. Okay. So if you're feeling stuck, start with those two questions. Why did you become a witch? And what does being a witch mean to you? Okay. So those are the first two you're going to start with. Now, for me personally, growing up, I had a lot of questions about where God's wife was, because in my mind, everything in the world was in balance. There was light and dark. There was male and female, or masculine and feminine. I mean, of course, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old's not going to know masculine and feminine, but I could see everything in balance or everything in opposites. And so here it was, I went to church and it was all about God and his son and the Holy Spirit, who was also male. And I was like, why are there no women? And that was not a question that Christianity could answer for me, because the women in the Bible are not equals. They are subordinate to men. They are painted as prostitutes. Just as like a little side tangent, Mary Magdalene is one of my matron goddesses now. Her power is absolutely amazing. And she was, reduced down to a prostitute who washed Jesus's feet in the Bible. Like, that's horrible. Because she was a strong woman. And so the older I got and the more I understood my own strength in being a woman and the fights that I had to fight because I was a woman, I really found myself pulling away from Christianity because it was so male dominated. And so for me, I was very much drawn to goddess energy, divine feminine energy. And that's when I read about Wicca, where there was a balance. And then I even eventually, my path led me down to the Avalonian tradition, which is goddess centered. And I do get asked a lot, especially in the coven. I personally work with all goddesses. And I've been asked in my Ink Spirit Coven before, well, do you ever work with male energy? And I don't. And I'm about to explain why. Okay? There's about to be a huge light bulb come on, because it finally came on for me. Actually, this has only been within the last couple of months. I've realized this. So, but in my life, I had to take a step back and I had to look, how much divine feminine energy did I have in my life? And honestly, the answer was none. I've got a lot of notes for you all today, and I'm really excited. I am really excited about this subject, where I went with it and what we're going to be covering today. Just, sorry, little, fun little early celebration there. Okay, so I have mentioned it before, but I finally looked it up and wrote it down, and I'm so happy. I'm so proud of myself. So there's 10 major planets in your astrological chart if you're counting the sun, the moon, and then the planets, okay? And you stop at Pluto. You can go on to Lilith and this asteroid and blah, 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 blah. But if you're looking at the 10 major things, out of the 10 planet placements in my chart, 8 of them are divine masculine or in divine masculine signs. 8 of 10. That's a lot. So it just hit me within the last month that divine masculine energy is my default. That's my go-to. When I'm stressed, divine masculine. When I am not consciously embodying divine feminine energy, divine masculine is my default, okay? And I have so much divine masculine energy in my chart, in my birth chart, that you could you could say, I was going to say you could probably say, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I have so much divine masculine energy in my chart that oftentimes I float into toxic masculinity, okay? Which is really weird to say, and I understand, but you have to look at energy as energy, so we all have divine feminine energy. We all have divine masculine energy. I'm going to clear it up here in a second too. But for me, I have so much divine masculine energy that when I'm put under pressure, it tends to swing over into toxic masculinity, okay? Where I am pushing too hard. I get angry. I get jealous. I get insecure, super insecure, like really quickly. So that's only been within the last month or two that I've come to realize that for me, I have to consciously embody divine feminine energy just because of how things were when I was born and what the energy that I was coded with from the moment that I was born, okay? So just to give you an idea, divine masculine energy it's active, it's projective, it's an outward energy, it's a pushing energy, it's logical, and it's expansive, okay? To give you the contrast of that, divine feminine energy is a pull. It is receptive. It's a flow. It is intuitive instead of logical. It's a dive inward into yourself instead of a dive outward into your environment. And it's passive, and that does not mean in a bad way. If you think about possibly maybe if your parents, growing up embodied divine masculine and divine feminine according to their genders, then, your dad may have set a lot of rules and like, this is how it's going to be and structure. And that's what divine masculine energy is. Whereas divine feminine energy is very much like, go and try it, go ahead, touch that hot thing. You'll find out yourself that you weren't supposed to do that. Like, I can tell you don't do that all day long, but you're going to want to figure it out for yourself. That's what passive is. It doesn't mean, divine feminine energy lets divine masculine walk all over it. It means that energy takes a step back and kind of sees how things unfold. Okay. But that's within all of us. So everyone has divine masculine energy. Everyone has divine feminine energy. So this is probably knowing that my default is divine masculine and that I have 8 out of 10 planets in divine masculine signs. That is probably why I was so drawn to divine feminine energy. I find it so fascinating. And my spiritual path ended up being one of goddess worship and, complete just working with divine feminine energy because I needed that balance, right? So huge light bulb came on for me then. For me, this journey that I am currently telling you all about right now started back in the summer, okay? I really started to focus on divine feminine energy. As I really started to embody divine feminine energy and work with that, I went into dark divine feminine energy, which is not the way that it sounds. It is very, dark divine energy is very magical. It is very sexual. It is very sensual. It is all about pleasure. It is about relaxation. It is about creation. That is what dark divine feminine energy is. I mean, that's what divine feminine energy is, but we are going deep with it. That's what I mean by dark. I don't mean dark as in like bad, evil, I mean dark as in we're going down into the depths of your soul to work with that divine energy that lives down in there that a lot of people deem as shadow, okay? Which we're going to talk about that today too. We're going to get into a little bit of everything. And if you are one of my paid Patreon people, we're going to get into it even more, and I'm so excited. Okay. So, yes, let's dive into this. We're going to dive into it. I'm just going to touch on it because, of course, I could probably be here for hours talking about divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy, dark divine feminine energy, all of it. Okay, so this is just going to be like a surface thing for you all. Okay, so all energy centers, I believe, all energy centers contribute to magic. Okay, in order to have successful magic, you're going to have to pass that intention through all of your energy centers. And yes, I'm referring to chakras. Okay, so whether or not you really follow the chakra system or you just think of it as energy centers, okay, like in your body, I believe that successful magic comes from passing that intention through all of the energy centers, okay, and all of the elements as well, which I'm not going to talk about today. That is what we're doing for over the whole year in the Ink Spirit Coven. But we're going to talk about the energy centers today, okay? So a lot of witches think that magic, if I were to ask you right now, which energy center does magic come from? Most of you probably right now, you thought third eye, because that's what we're associated with, right? Like, oh, okay, my third eye, my intuition, that's going to be witchy. And, you know, witches have open third eyes, so my magic must come from my third eye. That is not correct, okay? If your next thought was your crown chakra, because that is your connection to your divine energy source or your higher self, you're also wrong. So, while I believe all energy centers are important for successful magic, there is one chakra that is associated with magical creation, and that is your sacral chakra. Okay, so that is your second chakra. And just to give you all, if you all are like, chakras, what? If we have some beginner witches here, or you're just not familiar with the chakras, quick rundown. The first chakra is your root chakra. It's at the base of your spine. It is red. Moving up and for those of you watching on YouTube, you get to see fun stuff because I'm going to like point them out. Your sacral chakra is where your sex organs are, okay? That is orange in color. That's your center of creation. And then your solar plexus chakra sits right above your belly button. It's yellow in color. That is your personal power center. I have talked about this on past episodes. If you have anxiety, it's a solar plexus issue, okay? Moving up, you have your heart chakra, which is right where you think it would be in the center of your chest. That's green in color. Moving up to your throat, that is your throat chakra. It is blue color. There's discrepancy here as to whether you're talking blue, indigo, violet, clear. I've always done blue for the throat chakra. And then moving up, you've got your third eye chakra, which is in the middle of your forehead and between your eyes. I've always done purple for that one, but this is where some people say indigo, which is like a blue purple, like a really deep blue. And then your crown chakra is on the top of your head. I've always associated that with white, but some people associate it with purple as well. And that is so of course your third eye chakra is your intuition. Let me back up a little bit. Your throat chakra is all about your communication, your voice, speaking your truth. And then, your third eye chakra is intuition. And then your crown chakra is your connection to your higher power, whatever that is for you. So your sacral chakra is your magic portal. That is where you create magic, is from your sacral chakra, okay? Your sacral chakra is where anything is created. That is your center of creation, okay? So it doesn't matter if what your sex is or even your gender, it does not matter, okay? We all have those same energy centers. And it doesn't matter if you are male, female, whatever physical parts you have, it doesn't matter. You're going to create things in that energy center and birth it into the world. And you can birth things into the world regardless of sex or gender, okay? That is your energy birthing center, okay? So even ideas that you have come from your sacral chakra, believe it or not, okay? Well, if you think it, it's going to stay in there. It's going to stay inside of you. But if you think it and then apply action to it and push it into the world to make it a reality, then you've birthed it into the world. Okay? So your sacral chakra is divine feminine. Okay? It deals with creativity. It deals with sexuality. It deals with pleasure. It deals with emotion. These are all the things that deal with the sacral chakra. Okay. It is also, they say that it's associated with the element of water. I agree with that because of emotions. Because that is where your trauma is stored. That's where your emotions are stored, is your sacral chakra. I also believe it is associated with the element of fire because you have to have that flame of creativity. You have to have that flame of motivation, that flame of passion. So I could say that it is associated with both water and fire, okay? So the minute that you realize that your magic is created and birthed from your sacral chakra, it is a game changer. I promise you, okay? And as the sacral chakra is your magical center, your magical portal, it is where you dream up an idea and then birth it, then add that energy and birth it into the world. Pleasure is also associated with your sacral chakra. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. If your magical practice does not bring you pleasure, joy, happiness, why are you doing it? That's a serious question. If your magical practice does not make you feel alive, does not bring you vitality, does not make you turned on, why are you doing it? Why did you become a witch? And that's a question you really have to ask yourself, because if you're going through the motions of being a witch and there's no emotion there, there's no passion, probably you're going to find out your spells aren't working too. So, being a witch is sexy. I said it. Being a witch is sexy as fuck. Okay? Witchcraft is sexy as fuck. Okay? I don't care. Don't go by the Hollywood green face, warts, like cackling on a broom with flying monkeys. That's not a witch. Think of the Charmed Sisters. Think of Morgan Le Fay, and not the Morgan Le Fay that was bastardized and said, oh, she seduced her brother and made him have it. No, she was powerful. She was amazing. She was, she knew her energy. She's the queen of Avalon. But, you tell her like, oh, magic, she got it done. Okay. Magic is sexy. Witchcraft is sexy. It is powerful. You are owning your shit as a witch, and you are projecting your desires into the world. Okay? So witchcraft is sexy. If your witchcraft is not sexy to you, what are you doing? What are you doing? Make it sexy. Okay? And if you are a paid Patreon, this is what we're going to go into in the bonus material for today's episode. Okay, we're going to go all into the sacral chakra. We're going to talk about how sexy magic is. Okay, so that's in my paid Patreon tier, patreon.com/inkgoddesscreations. If you just want to do the podcast tier, it's only $5, but it gets you bonus material every week. Anyway, plug done. I'm going back. Sacral chakra, witchcraft is sexy. That is your pleasure center. Okay. So your witchcraft practice needs to bring you pleasure. And I don't necessarily mean sexual pleasure. Pleasure can be anything. It can make you just feel alive. It can make you smile. It can, just those witchy vibes. And you're like, hell yeah, this is me. This is me. Okay. That's all pleasure. All right. Just for some reference, there are some other feminine chakras. So your sacral chakra, your heart chakra, and your third eye chakra are all considered feminine chakras. And these are, that's of course, your creation. and then your heart center, you're, throwing in that emotion, that, self-love, all of that. And then your third eye, which is intuition. That's a very feminine quality. Okay. And then your divine masculine chakras, just to throw them in here, is your root, which is why you want to ground down before performing magic. And then your solar plexus. So basically, when you are taking a magical intention, you're going to run it through all the chakras. You're going to run it through divine feminine and divine masculine energy. And I'm going to explain that real quick. So before you perform any type of spell, ground down. That's going to activate your root chakra and give you the divine masculine energy. Then you're going to pass that. You're going to create. You're going to come up with that intention, whatever it is that you want to create in your reality. Okay, and that's going to pass the intention through your sacral chakra, which is feminine. Then once you're going to pass it up into your solar plexus chakra, which is where you're going to add your personal power, your personal beliefs. This is why you want it. This is how you want it. And this is, what you're going to do when you get it. This is all your personal power. That's masculine. Then you're going to run that intention up through your heart, and you're going to add all of that emotion. Like, when I get this, this is how I'm going to feel. This is how I'm going to love myself, so much, because I created it, and this is going to be amazing. And you're going to add all of those amazing emotions to your intention that you're trying to create. Okay. And your heart chakra is feminine. Then you're going to add your truth to it. You're going to add your words to it. You're going to speak your intention into existence. Okay. And that's part of the magic. So that's going to take you up through the throat chakra, which is masculine. Then you're going to visualize it with your third eye. This is how I'm going to see what I want playing out in real life. This is how I'm going to visualize it coming to reality for me. Okay. And that is your third eye chakra. It's feminine. And then you're going to connect it to your higher self, your divine energy source. You're going to be like, this is it. You're going to push it out of your body into the world, coated in beautiful divine energy, like as above, so below. So you created it within, and now you're pushing it into reality, into the without. So as within, so without. As above, which is your crown chakra, as so below from your root chakra. You manifested this shit through all of your energy centers. Okay. Yeah, y'all just got Magic 101 with that one. Okay. So as I've gone more into consciously embodying divine feminine energy, that's when my shifts began to occur. It was probably just the pure balance of it all, finally consciously tapping into that divine feminine energy for me. I had shifts in my personal life. I had shifts in the business. I had shifts in my intuition. Everything awakened within me. And I, all of a sudden, probably for the first time in 40 years, I'm 43 now. So we'll give my toddlerhood a little bit of time to just be, me, toddler Morgan, a little bit of time to just be toddler Morgan. But for the past 40 years, I don't know that I've ever truly understood the immense power of rest, of relaxation, of pleasure, of any of that. I've just always been go, 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 push, 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 achieve, achieve, achieve. And I never sat back to give thanks. I mean, I did give thanks for what I was achieving, but I would give thanks and then I would move on to the next thing, I never really sat back and relaxed. I never really sat back and looked around and truly lived in what I had created and the celebration of what I had created. It was always, okay, cool, I achieved it. Thank you. Woo! Let's move on to the next thing to achieve. And I've been like that my whole life. So finally taking a step back into that gorgeous, sensual, divine feminine energy and the rest and the relaxation. And not only that, but just opening myself up to the flow finally. Oh my God, the shit that has just happened has been so amazing. So amazing. And I've learned it for the first time how important divine feminine energy is for me, because my default is divine masculine. Now, if you were to run your chart and you find out you're all flow and sitting back and not doing anything, you've got to add some divine masculine energy to, your magic, to your life. So you've got to add a little bit more structure, a little bit more action, a little bit more push. But for me, sitting back and releasing it all was the key for me. Okay. Another thing that I did come to realize in the last couple of months too was my need for accountability. Yeah. So divine masculine, divine feminine aside, in my chart, I have 6 planets in air signs, 2 in fire, 1 in water, and 1 in earth. Okay. So I'm a great self-starter. I'm great at that. I'm a great motivator, self-motivator. I fly with the wind. So I'm going to be interested in this over here. And then, ooh, what's that over there? I'm going to be interested in that too. I'm going to do that for a little while until, this has caught my attention. So the downside of all of that is I can be a little flaky. And I admit it too. And it's funny because I'm surrounded by so many other Aquarians and I'm like, we're flaky. And they're like, no, not flaky. That's not the word. And I'm like, we're flaky. All right. Aquarians are flaky. I wrote down here, I'm wispy. I can float from one thing to the next very easily because of all of the air in my chart. So I need those earth-like structures in my life in order to get shit done. It is a necessity for me. So I have to have accountability. And what's funny is I even had to put accountability around my divine feminine flow. I have to schedule things out. And I mean, when I say schedule things, I mean everything. I schedule everything out to the best of my ability. Now, the air side of me wants to fight that really badly. Like, don't put me in a cage. Don't tell me I'm supposed to do it at 2 p.m. I'll do it when I want to. That's my nature, okay? So I have to fight against that too, or I have to consciously, I don't like to say fight against it. I have to consciously embody that energy as well. But for me, I have to schedule it. Even pleasure, even like sitting back and just watching The Masked Singer, because that's a guilty pleasure of mine. Sitting back watching Agatha All Along. I'm like, I may not schedule it out to the minute, it's 7:02. I'm going to go lay in bed and watch Agatha All Along. But I'm like, okay, let me get these things done with my day so that starting at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., whatever, I can do whatever I want. So that's how I schedule things out. And basically that whatever I want time is just pure pleasure. No work, pure pleasure. And then the air side of me is very happy because I'm just doing whatever I want in that time period. But for me, I needed accountability. I started tracking like my food and my activity because I needed that accountability. I even set reminders to drink water, because I have to, that's how flaky I am. I even am in a coaching program to make sure that I keep working with divine feminine energy, because my default setting is divine masculine. So if I'm not consciously working with divine feminine energy and consciously making it a priority in my life, I'm going to default to divine masculine energy. And then I'm going to burn myself out, and I'm going to be stressed, and I'm going to be biting the heads off of children on the street, and it's not pretty, okay? So all of this helps keep me on track and keep me in the flow of divine feminine energy. For me, is putting those structures around it, but also having accountability, making sure that I have a group that I can go to. And, when I'm struggling and I'm starting to default back into divine masculine, I have a group that I can go to and say, okay, I'm faltering. I need to, slide back into that divine feminine energy. Here's my accountability for the week, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, tracking food, activities, like things like that. These are just ways that I have that's for me personally. I have to set those structures in place, or else things will just go willy-nilly. And let me tell you, it's been willy-nilly for too damn long. Too damn long. So that's pretty much what I have for you all today. I will be doing my Patreon shout outs here. And then I do have some questions to ask yourself. You know, I said at the beginning I was going to give you all questions. Why are you a witch? You know, if you're struggling right now, or if your witchcraft practice doesn't bring you joy too, get back to the basics. So why are you a witch? What makes you feel alive in your practice? What do you miss about your practice? Is there something you used to do back in the day when you first became a witch, or when you first found witchcraft, that made you feel alive, that maybe now 20 years later you're like, well, shit, I don't read tarot anymore. That might be fun again. What do you miss? Does your practice bring you joy? Does your practice light your inner fire? Does it bring you pleasure? And if the answer to those is no, we should talk. Like, seriously, okay? We should talk. And I'm going to segue right into it because it is perfect, because today is December 30th. December. Oh my God. What the hell? How am I trying to time travel 2 fucking months in the future? No, ma'am. Bad, Morgan. October 30th. October 30th. Oh my God. I feel like I should just go cut that out, but it's too damn funny. Okay. Today is October 30th, okay? This is important for those of you who are sitting here and you are thinking, I need accountability. I need to make my spiritual practice a priority. How do I do that? What can I do? Okay? You can join the Ink Spirit Coven. And I know it's the segue, it's a shameless plug, and I'm still going to do my Patreon shout outs here. So if you are waiting for that, it's coming. The Ink Spirit Coven is my online coven. This is how I am with them all the time. Okay. We talk about all kinds of stuff, and I teach a lesson and host a workshop every month on Zoom in the coven. Okay. But there are 4 years worth of archives for you to go through. Anything from chakras to tarot to green witchcraft to divine feminine and sexuality. That is actually a class I taught. Divine feminine in sexuality. It's exactly what we were talking about today. But this is how I am in the coven. I have 25 years of, knowledge that I'm sharing with them. For the month of November, we are working on magical waters and ritual baths. And that's going to be for the lesson and the workshop, because it's a lot of information. But we're finishing up our journey with the element of water, and then we're going to be moving into the element of earth with the winter, with December. Sorry, December. I don't know what month it is. Apparently I don't. I think it's freaking December. Anyway. But the reason that this is important is if you are listening to this episode today, October 30th, then head over to our website. There is a coupon code that will get you $10 off of your first month of the Ink Spirit Coven today only. Today only. Okay, I'll give you the coupon code. It's part of our 31 days of Samhain fun advent calendar, virtual advent calendar type thing. But the code it's long because I do that for the website because I'm not saying them out loud. Anyway, it's 31 days, so 31 DAYS dash ISC 10. So that stands for 31 days dash Ink Spirit Coven 10. Okay. Or just go to our website, inkedgoddesscreations.com, click on the 31 days of Samhain, the big banner on the front page, and scroll down to day 30. It'll be written right there. Okay. It is only valid for today, October 30th. So if you happen to be listening to this late and you're like, no, I still want to join, you can always use the coupon code podcast5, and that's the number 5, and that'll give you $5 off your first month. I did also make the coupon code. I think I made it valid on the year-long membership of the coven. So it still only takes $10 off of the total. But that's for the 31 days one. But yeah, I think I took it off the yearly because the Ink Spirit Coven is $30 a month or $300 a year, which basically gives you 2 months free. Okay. So there we go. That's my plug. I would love to have you join, especially if you are wanting to make your witch's new year even more magical and you want that accountability. You want that community. You want to show up for yourself and your inner witch and bring your inner witch out. That's why I started the Ink Spirit Coven, and it is an amazing, amazing group of people, of supportive witches. I freaking love them. We have our own private Facebook community. They are amazing. So there you go. My Patreon tier, again, Patreon, I have 3 different paid tiers. But just the $5 a month one is the podcast one. It gets you bonus information. And then if you go up to the next one is $9. That's going to get you a tarot reading every week along with the podcast tier. You're going to get a tarot reading every week for the week's energy. And then the top tier is called Magical Manuscripts. It's only $13 a month. It'll give you the bottom 2 tiers as well as Book of Shadow pages, like 2 to 4 a month. So yeah. Patreon.com/InkGoddessCreations. And I did not do shout outs last week. So because we recorded the Emily one at a weird time. So I didn't know where I was going to be. So I have a lot of them. So I definitely want to do my shout outs. Thank you so much to my new paid members, Valerie, Amanda, Teresa, Nicole F, Scented Aura, Sarah, Rachel, Jess, Teresa C, Megan W. I put Megan W. That's Megan Winkler. That's our Megan that's here. She's our marketing goddess. Thank you, Megan. Jessica, Candace, and Magatha. Thank you so much. And if you have signed up, but I haven't mentioned your name, it's just because of when I tape this. And then, you'll go on next week. So thank you. But that's what I have for you all today. I want to thank you all for being here, for listening, for giving me a platform to just be my crazy self. I have all kinds of links down in the show notes for Ink Spirit, Ink Goddess Creations, and the Patreon. So you can definitely, look down there for all the things. And yeah, thank you for being here. I will see you all again next week. Bye.